I get all jacked for press conferences because I want information. I want to know some things. And I understand that teams can't tell me everything. That's not their job. They don't want to get everything that they're trying to do out there. We get announcements when the time is right. Well, when we speak to Andrew Berry a little bit later today, Browns off-season availability, there's only one question I care about. There's only one thing I really wanted to answer, and it's a question there is in no world way that he's going to do later this morning there in the press room in Berea. Are you going to restructure Deshaun Watson's deal? That question is a loaded question. The numbers tell you yes. I've got Jack Duffin's article from OBR saying why yes. I know when they signed Watson to the deal that the whole point was to restructure these as they go. Well, I don't think anybody could have predicted that the first two seasons would go the way that they have. So now we sit here with this money. It's not quite as easy to say just yes or no. There's a lot that goes into this. So Barry is going to get peppered today, I hope, with questions about it. Will he actually say anything? Probably not. But I'm still very interested to see how the Browns handle things when it comes to Deshaun Watson's restructure. We'll discuss that this morning. Guards, tough loss yesterday. I did not like the approach from the plate yesterday, but we'll get to that. NBA playoffs, hot and heavy. Dude, I am 4 for 4 on the play-in tournament games. No games tonight. We'll get ready to go for tomorrow. But I do think something, watching those games yesterday, specifically the 76ers and Heat, I've got to take about the Cavs coming off of that. Wine and gold back at practice. Donovan Mitchell says he's 100%. Thank God. Getting ready to go for Saturday. Playoff game. Got cringeworthy press conferences too, Ryan, that we'll get to on that. We got the grid. We got the bracket. Very hot and heavy on our favorite McDonald's item. The morning update and time hop. All on a beautiful Thursday right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Dude, I am hot right now with the NBA play. That's 4 for 4 for me, buddy.
You're doing pretty well.
Doing pretty well. That Maloik will now be placed to this weekend when I'm actually going to be placing real bets on some NBA games. Not that I haven't, but I cashed a little bit last night, which was nice. Cavs, do we have a line for that game yet? Probably not, right? We do. 4.5.
Yeah,
4.5.
Which is a little bigger than I thought.
No, I think that's I think that's pretty fair. Pretty fair there on typical. Of course, 1 o'clock Saturday. We've already got boosts going. Dave's already got a boost out there. We already have a big play boost that I put money on this morning that I liked. We'll get to our Guardians boost today as well, as they're playing at 1 o'clock out there to wrap things up with Boston. So we got it all going for you right here on Big Play. But we start with the Browns this morning. So Barry's going to speak later today. And it's a great question, Ryan, of between Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, who gives you less in press conferences? I actually think it's Stefanski.
It's Stefanski.
I think it is Stefanski.
It's Stefanski.
Because there are times that Barry will straight up look at Mary Kay or Tony or Jake or Jeff or Scott or anybody out there, and he'll go, you know what, I'll give you this one. I'll give you this.
Yeah, he does
He does that. He goes, I'll give you this.
All right, you got it out.
All right, you got me. I'll give it. So I'm hoping the thing today that he goes, all right, I'll give you this one. I want it to be the Watson restructure question. And here's the thing. It's not going to be. That is, I think, maybe one of the most closely guarded secrets with the Browns right now. And you might be saying, what's the point? Why is this even a big deal? Because I think it is going to tell you where the Browns stand with Deshaun Watson. And I know where some of the fans sit, but it's where the organization sits. And the reason I think it's important is how the Browns are handling this. I'll tell you, Ryan, it's not even necessarily a reflection on Watson. It's keeping the health of the franchise. It's keeping that door open if you have to get out of this. And the Browns need to, I think, go down that path. I think they need to go down the path of keeping it open, of potentially getting out of this Watson deal. Now, the instant reaction would be they're out on Watson and they think he's washed. He's not going to be good anymore. In reality, I think you can make the move of not restructuring him and just say, we hope he returns to form. We believe he's going to return to form. But this is a multi-billion-dollar organization with a roster built ready to go. We need to keep flexibility here. Now, the big pushback, and a lot of what Jack wrote on his latest article on the OBR, and we've had Jack on, friend of show. We're going to have him on again probably very soon as we get ready for the draft. But he keeps bringing up that this was the model that was created for the Browns when they signed that deal to continue to restructure. And Jack does a great job of breaking down the numbers year over year, right? The cap number's 46, the percentage, trying to get that number down as much as you can. And the Browns did that in 2022. He was owed $46 million. That was a 22% cap hit, right? And they got that down to 5%. This upcoming season, 2024, right now, he has a cap hit, and I think it's even more, at 18%. And I would think when you look at a team just at 100%, which the Browns have been spending over the cap, by the way, because they've been able to roll over some money at some point. If you told me that a fifth of your money was going to your quarterback, well, yeah, that's how important a quarterback is in the NFL. That number doesn't shock me. On Jack's restructure, they could get that down to 11%. And then you just keep going down until eventually in 2027, he would account for nearly 28% of the cap. These are the games that Andrew Berry's sitting down and he's crunching these numbers. The question is, do you want to keep moving the money down the road, or do you eventually want to bite the bullet? I'm going to give Jack's side of things because Jack and I differ on this. And he says you got to restructure. There's no way that they can. And Jack's point is you are then hamstringing, whatever it is. You are making things really hard on Andrew Berry to be able to spend on other positions. Jack writes in his article so aptly put, one of the advantages the Browns have had, they've been able to spend, on average, $43 million more than other teams because the Haslams have the liquid cash to give this money up front, restructure these deals, and you move the money around. So the Browns have been able to outspend the rest of the league for a long time. What you don't want to have happen is go to Andrew Berry and say, we can't do that anymore. Can't do that anymore. Because of where the Watson deal is. So you keep restructuring to keep maintaining the flexibility that Andrew Berry's been able to take advantage of and get a lot of deals done. In fact, we'll get to Time Hop coming up. They signed Denzel Ward to the highest paid cornerback position deal in NFL history 2 years ago today, right? That money is on the books. All this stuff that's happening is because of the Watson restructures. And I understand Jack's point. My pushback is this roster is built. What deals do you really continue to need to hand out right now? The only ones that we know, Greg Newsome, which we'll get to him in a little bit, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and I think eventually a Myles Garrett redone deal. Myles Garrett needs to get paid more. That's just a fact. Do those outside of Newsome and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, they don't have to do the Myles Garrett deal this year. They could say, hey, man, we're going to take care of you next year. Don't worry about it, all right? Other than that, an Amari Cooper restructure, the Nick Chubb one is done. I guess I just come from the standpoint, this roster is good. This roster is built. Jerry Jeudy is now here on a restructured deal, and his money's now accounted for. I just don't think they're going to restructure it. I don't. So when I think about Berry, and I do want to discuss other things we want to hear from Berry coming up, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I think you need to hold off as long as you can to leave the out there. And I don't like living in this world. I don't like the situation the Browns are in. I don't think Deshaun Watson does, and I know the team probably doesn't, but it's still the reality. It is still the world that you live in right now where you have all this money. I think you need to take a chunk out of it right now. And I know the salary cap's going to keep jumping and not necessarily the big jump that we have this year. The money's going to keep going up. I understand that. You look at the rest of the quarterback deals that are getting signed. He's not that bad anymore. But I think you still need to prepare for that chance. Now, that is break glass in case of emergency. But at least you need to have that. They restructure him, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. And I don't know if the Browns want to do that. And it comes back to, again, and we heard from Watson, he said he's good and he's coming back healthy and all that kind of stuff. The other thing is, you can restructure next year. Let him get out. It's almost like Nick Chubb. As I sit here and I talk so much about wanting Nick Chubb to get a new contract and for him to stay here, I still need to see him play. Ryan, that's kind of where I'm entering with Deshaun Watson. I don't want to restructure him right now because I want to see him get back out there. I'm understanding that the injuries are probably the biggest reason why he was not good last year. And I know people are trying to connect dots and play detective here on when he got hurt. And it's very clear and obvious that his play this past season was impacted by that. Whenever the shoulder injury happened, he tried to gut through it, shouldn't have played in the Colts game. Here we are, right? Let me see him healthy. Let me see him healthy first before we talk about anything. And I just don't know if there really is the pressure to do it right now. So much so. And I don't like saying this, but if it meant not getting Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah a contract this year, then don't do it. I'm at that point. And you might be saying JOK could walk out the door. Well, you could franchise tag him. Linebackers don't get paid a lot. I guess it would be the average of some of those gaudy contracts, but still, you could franchise him. You could sign him to an extension after this season. I know nobody likes going into a lame duck season, but if you told me that you had to restructure Watson to get the money to pay Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I'm still not doing it. And I love JOK, and he's a big part of this defense, and I think he's going to get his contract. Ryan, this, for me, is a prime number one for this offseason. Yeah, Watson getting healthy, Chubb getting healthy, the tackles getting healthy, sure. The biggest thing for me this offseason, without a question, is what they're going to do with his restructure. And it might come out later today. Barry might announce this in the press conference, and all that I'm saying here is moot. They're going to restructure him because that's how it was set up, and that's the smart thing to do. And if that is, I'm going to trust Andrew Barry. I believe in Andrew Barry. He's good at his job. He's crunched the numbers. Whatever he says goes. That's fine. But this whole offseason is going to be my biggest thing. And there's a lot going on with the Browns. I understand it. For me, it all comes back to Watson's restructure. And I know Barry's going to get asked about it later, and I cannot wait on tomorrow's show to react to just what he says. You know how we do it here. I'm going to take whatever he says. I'm going to piece it together. I'm going to try to dive through and mine through what he said to see where they're leaning. The questions are going to come, and he's going to be prepared. And I really am wondering, what do you think he's going to say? You're Andrew Barry.
I'm
Scott
what
Petrak.
Specific topic?
I'm just going to say, Andrew, where are you guys at with the Deshaun Watson restructure? Right. That's I like. What's he going to say?
He's going to say, "Thanks I appreciate the question. Right now,
that's probably what he'll go with is we keep contract discussions in house or something like that. We don't discuss. And Barry has said that before. He has said that before about that they don't discuss deals and press conferences and things like that. So maybe that'll be his out on it. But he's going to be asked again. Here's another question that I'd love to ask him. Do you feel it necessary to restructure him? And the easy out would say, well, we don't feel required to do anything. But God, I hope he asks that. I can't, the press conference right when we get off the show. I could get in there if I really needed to, but I would love somebody to ask him the question. Do you feel it necessary? Do you feel like it's a requirement to keep the flexibility that you require or that you restructure Watson? I wonder if we'd say that.
It's kind of interesting because it goes back to the debate of, we talked about it with Stefanski more so than Andrew Barry, but we talk about if this Watson deal does ultimately, splatter against the wall, it goes horrible, and Deshaun Watson is never good.
Yeah.
It goes back to, we were talking about, some people feel as though Stefanski might not survive that, right?
Yeah.
But, if they do elect to not restructure that Deshaun Watson deal in order to get out of it sooner than later, do you think that shows that Andrew Barry's confident he would survive?
No, that's a fantastic question and point, and yes, I do. And that's I think a staple and something that should not be lost in this is the structure and I would say power, for lack of a better term, but the power that you do have. I don't have a GM that's lame duck. I don't have a head coach, in my opinion, that you're worried about. There's always the naysayers, the negative people out there. But what I'm saying is you're right. They believe, here's exactly what you're getting to, which is right. Do I have to make the move to save my job, or do I have to make the right move for the team? Right. Sometimes those are not the same. Sometimes they are. But in this, am I making the move to save my job, Or am I making the move that's right for the team? You hear about GMs all the time. Oh man, they made moves and trades just to get picks for the next GM, or they're just freeing money up for the next guy to come in here and be able to make his moves. I think the Browns, rightly so, are all in on Stefanski and Barry. No question. I know they need extensions this offseason too. I'm kind of shocked. I really am shocked they're not done already, but there's no worry there. So now you are free to sit down in their office and go, make the best move for this team. And the thing is, by just not restructuring them, Ryan, people have this built up that if it didn't come out, like if they didn't restructure him this offseason, then they're literally shoving him out the door. They're literally kicking him out the door. And that's not true. It's just for this season, we're not going to do it. Watson gets his money. There's never a question on that. Jack put it in his article, which is right. Restructure, it's not a pay cut. It's not a pay cut. He's getting his money, and some guys like it because then they get their money up front.
That's the reason you see so many restructures.
They're like, sure.
Is because players, why would they turn that down? They're getting their money now.
Now, some guys, there are pay cuts involved. That's not the situation here at all. That's not. Here's your money up front, and you're helping us out. It helps the team, and I think that's good vibes between the team and the player to help get that done. And some guys that aren't going anywhere. Of course, Denzel Ward restructure. He ain't going anywhere, right? Myles Garrett restructure. He ain't going anywhere, right? So Jerry Jeudy's here. He's not going anywhere. So the fact that if the Browns didn't do it, it's not some death curse. It's not some, oh, God, Watson's out of here next year. It's just we're going to see how he plays. We're going to maintain this flexibility for this team right now. And if I don't think Watson would get hurt by that, right? Like, he's got to read the room and understand. And the thing is, here's how Andrew Berry could sell this too. Hey, man, we actually made a lot of smart moves, and we have the room to do it right now. Let's do it. Like, we prepare and we plan on these things. Now just happens to be a really good time for us to eat some of this cash. And we're going to do it. It's no offense to you. This has nothing to do with your play. No, it does for me. It has nothing to do with you as the person or the player. It's just now's the time we're going to do it. It's a little earlier than we thought it was. And here's the easiest way to think about Deshaun Watson's deal, right? You got this, I can't even think of anything, right? You got this chunk, right? You got this big old fat chunk of the money. And usually it's divided up over the years. And what you do is you just keep taking these chunks and you start, this year used to be this, now it's this now, but this year is here. It's just, we're going to take a chunk out of this right now. We are in a position to take a chunk out of this right now. It's like you got your tax return money and you're like, all right, I'm going to pay down some of my debt here. I'm going to take a big chunk on my credit card. I just think it was J.G. Wentworth commercials. Do you have a structured settlement? How many people out there actually have a structured settlement? And you need your money now.
I couldn't even tell you what that is.
J.G. Wentworth. So it's like, so there's two ways that I understand just because I see that commercial ad nauseum during the day. Imagine if you won the lottery. Shout out to somebody in Parma. Did you see that, by the way? Somebody won $50,000 on the Mega Millions in Parma. Congratulations. Well done. Well, it's not me, unfortunately. I don't live in Parma. But imagine, you know how they always say take the cash payout, but it's always a substantial amount less. Let's say you said, no, pay me out. So you're going to get money over time and you need some of it now.
Periods, yeah.
You go to this J.G. Wentworth people and you go, hey, give me money, but then they get the future money. Or like, imagine you got into a car accident or something, unfortunately, or work thing, and they say, all right, we're going to pay you $100,000, but it's going to be $20,000 over 5 years. You go to this company, they'll go, well, we'll give you $87,000 right now,
But they get the
and then they get the other money that they make off of it.
I thought it was interesting though to go back to this Deshaun Watson thing.
They might need to call J.G. Wentworth, maybe.
I think they got better
Could
people.
you imagine Andrew Berry on the phone? Hey, man. What's going on?
Man,
J.G.
what a client that would be to land, huh? For J.G. Wentworth.
It's $200 million. Oh, my God. They'd hang the phone. I'm like, get out of here. Actually, it'd probably be Watson who'd be calling, right? Hey, I got a structured settlement here. I need a little bit, not a settlement, but I need my money. I need my money here. It'd be calling the general.
Yeah, I don't think they'll
It'd be calling that company that offers the insurance on your cars.
Yeah, with Shaq.
With Shaq, the other one's with Danica Patrick. You ever watch well, Shaq does the general.
Shaq does the general, yeah.
Do you know he's a part owner of the general? Like that company?
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, Shaq's doing it. And then the other ones that we're just talking about bad daytime TV commercials. The one with Danica Patrick that I see every commercial break now It's you buy into a program that covers all the repairs on your car. It's kind of like, I would say it's insurance for your car, but it's like repair insurance, like a warranty thing. You pay X number of dollars every month, and then when something breaks, they fix it for you. I see them all day, man. See them all day. J.G. Wentworth, the general. Bad marketing. I don't even know what that Danica Patrick thing is called. I have no idea. No idea. Yeah. Hey, man, I got a structured thing here. I need a little cash up front here. What if the NFL created something like that? Would that work? Is that how that goes?
Isn't that what people like Paul DePodesta are for?
That is supposed to. Sorry, there's a bunch of comic book news that just completely derailed me. Zack Snyder met with Leonardo DiCaprio about playing Lex Luthor. No! God, that would have been so good. Claims he met with Leonardo DiCaprio about playing Lex Luthor. Come on, man.
I'm not sold on that.
What? Now, I like Jesse Eisenberg. I thought he killed it, but that would have been great. Sorry. We got Superman stuff.
Jesse Eisenberg did not kill that.
What?
He was horrible.
Ryan.
He was horrible.
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
I loved him. Oh, man, I loved him as Lex Luthor. We differ on this, my friend. Whew. Yeah, I thought he was so good. Tell me that he was not psychotic in that role.
I wasn't a fan.
Okay, fine.
Anyway, getting back to
the
football, what I was saying was it's interesting about your thing of JOK and he's going to need an extension because if you knew Deshaun Watson was going to be good and he was going to live up to the contract, then you'd be like, okay, easy option. I'm going route A. I'm restructuring in order to get JOK that cash now and not have to worry about it entering that lame duck season you're talking about. And it all goes back to we don't know what Deshaun Watson is going to be, and it's so interesting because I wonder. I honestly would like to pose that as a question if we could word it to make people understand because everything comes back to the risk of Deshaun Watson being good or not. Because now because your point exactly, do I take the risk of losing JOK in order to get out of this deal get out of this deal, but get out of it earlier if I have the option.
The thing on JOK is why I'm not concerned about it. Let's say he goes into this season. Now, the reason you would have concern is what?
If he goes have a Pro Bowl season.
Not even just that, it's the personal relationship that you have with JOK.
Well, also, yeah.
Like Jeremiah is assuming that this offseason he's going to get a contract extension. He's played above his draft grade. He's been a good player for this team. It's time for him to get paid. Now, the Browns could sit down with him and say, don't worry about it. But that's not how the real NFL works.
Man, don't you wish you could go flip and make it so JOK was our first-round pick instead of Newsome?
Then you just pick up the fifth-year option. We'll get to Newsome because, again, it is what it is. But they ran through all the fifth-year options. They did this on CBS Sports. An agent, I don't even know who the agent was. I apologize. I didn't read I didn't read the first part of the article here.
I don't know how I'd word that question.
Oh, Joel Corey. And he went through all the fifth-year options coming up for 2020 on draft picks. We'll get to that later. I'll give you a sec. Think it through.
I'm just trying to think of how I could word it so people could understand it.
See, the thing is, I don't want blood money out there either. I don't want people making it sound like, oh, would you let Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah walk just to not restructure Deshaun Watson?
But it's not blood money. It's an honest question that Andrew Berry's thinking about.
But here's my thing on JOK is I have no fear about entering this season except for how JOK himself would view it. But if they sat down with him and said, this is our situation. We're not going to get you a deal this offseason because we have to eat some of this Watson deal.
But he can go back and be like, I just played my tail off. I was one of the best players on the defense, and now I could go out and get hurt.
His comeback is easy. I don't give a damn. That's your problem. That's his money. I want mine.
But then it goes, you're talking about JOK.
JOK, right. Yeah, exactly, right. He could say, that's your problem, not mine. I'm due my money here. And you could say, we're going to get it to you. Don't worry about it. And if need to, we'll franchise tag you, which the players hate.
Yeah,
we'll get you a long-term deal. Well, then, what if he goes out on the opposite side of things and tears his knee out? He wants that money, and I don't blame him for it.
Yeah, you know who that didn't work out for and lost tens of millions of dollars? Shane Bieber.
Yep. How'd that work? Exactly. Right. You're due for your money. It's time. But that's the tough game that's got to get played right now. And at this point, there still is a potential Amari Cooper restructure / deal, and maybe that frees some up. There's avenues to go.
You need what, 10 mil?
Well,
per year?
It depends what deal they structure up. It depends what they want to give him.
He's going to be making at least 10 if Patrick Queen and them are making 20.
I was just going to say, what are linebacker deals right
20
now?
mil.
Well, for the top guys.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah.
Linebacker contracts, we're going to go to over the cap here on this one.
I got to imagine if he's making 20, Jock's going to want at least like 13.
13 would actually put him with Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen's making $13.5 million per year with the Steelers.
Who's the highest paid linebacker right now?
Roquan Smith,
which is 20. Yeah.
Then 19 for Fred Warner with the 49ers. Tremaine Edmonds is making 18 a year with the Bears, but I think they might regret that deal. And then Matt Milano just signed his deal with the Bears. He gets 14. So here's the thing. If you wanted to average up the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bro, you're coming out to about 14, 15 million.
And
like linebackers just ain't getting paid.
And then with Greg Newsome, if I'm JOK, I'm looking, dude, you're gonna potentially pay Greg Newsome this money more than me to be our third best corner.
Well,
I'm our best linebacker.
That is other money that is not yet accounted for, but that's for next season too. Let's not forget that. That is money that is due next season, and they could say, yeah, we're giving Greg Newsome the 5th-year option next year, and we'll get you the same deal next year. Let's get to it. Joel Corey this morning on CBS Sports, and we'll continue the conversation about the Watson restructure. We got plenty of guards coming up in Cavs as well. So 31 of the 2021 first-round picks are eligible for the 5th-year option. The only one that wasn't was Alex Leatherwood because he got released and have actually made his way to the Cleveland Browns in a weird way. So like Trevor Lawrence, his 5th-year option for next year is $25 million. That'll probably be picked up. Zach Wilson, $22 million. No. Trey Lance, 22, no. Kyle Pitts is 10.8. Jamar Chase, 21. Jalen Waddle, 15. Penny Sewell, 19. J.C. Horn, Pat Surtain II. Devontae Smith already got his deal. Justin Fields, 25.6. It's a lot of money for the Steelers to think about. We go down to Greg Newsome. 26th overall pick. 13.3. And here's what Joel writes, which I'm not angry at him, but I would like a stronger take on this. Newsome has been subject of trade rumors. Browns are deep at corner with Denzel Ward and Martin Emerson. Here's where it is. The depth may make Newsome's 5th-year option more of a luxury than a necessity. So I guess Joel would say leaning, you probably don't have to do that. You know, you bring up another guy right there. MJ Emerson's probably going to need a deal. You know, that is the perpetuating cycle of an NFL general manager.
And that's why you need first-round picks.
Well, and that's why you need cap flexibility, too. And that would go back to restructuring Watson to maintain your cap flexibility. You need assets to build a team. You either need draft picks or money. You either need salary cap room or draft picks. Right now, the Browns don't have either. But I continue to come back to the team is built for now. In 2 years, you're going to need to replace some positions. I understand that. And you're getting your first-round picks back. Mark my words, man. I think Andrew Berry, he might not ever trade another first-round pick as long as he's with the Browns. I'm not saying that it's been scarred, but it's like you realize the impact of what you could have had with 3 first-round guys on this team right now, with the money that they'd be making, with what position they could be. But there's a lot. There's so many little things going on with Andrew Berry. So when he speaks later today, I'm very clearly all about what's he doing with the contract. So the other question I was going to ask you, Ryan, what do you want to hear from Andrew Berry later today? Frankly, I don't care about Watson's shoulder anymore. I got enough of that from him and Kevin Stefanski the other day. I need no questions about what he thinks about Watson on the field or the injury. Berry's sitting down. I want an update on the Newsome 5th-year option. I want the restructure on Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper potential restructure, and a potential long-term deal for Nick Chubb. Those are all the questions that I'd ask. I'm sure some of those will get over there to Andrew Berry later today. That's pretty much for me, right? Anything else that you're really dying to hear from Andrew Berry later today?
Not that I'm dying by any means to hear what he has to say about it, but I know somebody's going to ask him about Jerry Jeudy.
Just about
the
restructure
and the extension.
Oh, and the extension. Yeah, I think so. I think that'd be fair. But yeah, I mean, for Barry, that's pretty much where we're at right now with that. So it's up to you if you want to throw a question up this morning. We just wanted to start that discussion because I think there was a lot of interesting things about it, but I'll leave that up to Ryan, how he wants to handle that. On Twitter, at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. We're up on Instagram. We're also on Twitter, YouTube, and on Twitch, at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow all over there. Do you have it? Ryan, you wizard! Yes! Guards, let's go. Come on, baby. Come on now. We've been circling it, man. It's been the last couple of days. We've been 2 out of 3. That pays you on the imperfect parlay there on Tipico. We're going for the whole thing today, though. 1:30, Boston guards. We're going to need some Carrasco action here. We're going to need a little Jimenez. And 9.5 is gaudy. Gaudy on a getaway day.
Especially after dropping 0.
Well, I cashed easily on the under last night just because I did a side bet there. But I got it going because that's a lot, especially 9. Like, dude, think about it. You can have a 5-4 game and you're still hitting the under. Taking the under for the game. Carrasco strikeouts helps that. And let's go ahead and sprinkle in a little bit of Andres Jimenez hit. Ryan, what are we boosted up to?
Plus 553.
Woo! Dude, we're hitting some 5. Like, we're in the 5s right now with a lot of this.
Need to hit one.
We do need to hit one. We do need to hit one. Here's where you do. I'm already into Typico, man. Ready to go. Go over to home. Where am I at? Let's go to the... Is it under the game? Probably. Game.
It's also under trending.
Boost. Trending. Right here for you, buddy. How easy was that? Found it. $10 in. Boom. You saw it right there. Bet placed. I'm in. $10 pays you $65 for you right there with our friends at Typico. Folks, you still haven't signed up yet. Now is the time. NBA playoffs. We're hot right now in the play-in tournament. You want to get going for the Cavs on Saturday. Can I get you some of the Cavs boost? I already did it this morning. We have a big play boost already up for the Cavs game. And, dude, I love this one, all right? 4-leg parlay. Cavs Saturday. Money line, Donovan Mitchell over 25.5 points. Jared Allen, 10 boards. Max Strus to hit 2 threes. That's plus 561 right now. That's our big play boost for Saturday for the Cavs. We've got some Suns Timberwolves in there. We've got action on Friday. Folks, we got soccer on there. Front and center. I don't even know who this guy is. Romelu Lukaku.
Oh, he's amazing.
Good, so good.
I don't even know who that is. I'm playing.
Anytime goal scorer. Cody Gapco. Anytime goal scorer. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Yeah, anytime goal scorer. Mikel Antonio. West Ham and Bayer Leverkusen. I don't know soccer. You know soccer? Bet it right there in Typico. Real big with tennis. We got golf this weekend. RBC Heritage going on. Folks, Typico is where it's at. NHL playoffs, man. Ooh, let's get spicy on that. Come on now. Typico. Use the code Fontana100. When you sign up for new customers, deposit and bet $25 on whatever you want. Get $100 in bonus bets. Terms, conditions apply. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Get signed up now. You might have used up everything else. You know, he's sitting there saying, Matt, I keep depositing and all of a sudden, why don't you take advantage of some free credits here for new customers? Then, once you sign up, it keeps coming. The best cashback reward system in the industry. Seriously. You bet like you normally would. It's not about getting a token, they cash in. It's bet credits back into your account. And then for the NBA playoffs, buddy, you know where I'm at. They have a new promo going. You place the same game parlay, which I did for last night. Can I show you the one I hit last night? Here in Typico. And I don't normally like doing this because it's like, who cares about other people's bets? But I'll tell you what. Last night, right there, you see the green? See the green because I hit it? No? Okay. Trae Young, 20. Bulls minus 2.5. Kobe White, 4 assists. Murdered it. And under 2.5 steals for Alex Caruso. I cashed that. Now, not only did I cash that, that was a same-game parlay on an NBA game. I will get a bet credit for every 3-point made in that game. I didn't even look to see how many there was. That's the new thing going with Typico. Same game parlay for the NBA playoffs. You place one, you will get a bet credit back for every 3-point shot made in that game. I love that, man. I think that is really cool from Typico.
Yeah, so for kind of like to show off the promotion, I think Friday, me and Nick are going to go to like an open gym, and he's going to shoot, I think like he said, 333 threes. So give me your prediction. How many is he making?
I've never seen Nick play basketball. Is he good?
I don't know.
I've
I've never seen him play either.
Okay, I wouldn't make...
I know he played.
All right,
so.
I don't want to make a shot about his athletic ability because I've seen him throw out first pitches.
I do know the only sport I believe he played like long was basketball.
Okay.
So.
333.
I mean, you think about it, a 33%
in an open gym
clip of that would be like 111.
Good math. Good job.
I'm going to
say he's going to make 100.
That's a good, I feel like.
I think he's at 100. At 100. So that's really cool. Keep an eye out for that with Typico. But I'm telling you, this 3-point, dude, I love this with our friends at Typico. Let's get to it. I want to get to the guards. I do want to circle back to the guards. Let's talk some Cavs here for a second because I was so happy to hear from Donovan Mitchell that he's good to go. They had availability. They've had practice this week. And Donovan has said not only physically, but mentally, he is 100% ready to go. And that kind of hit to me for a second about overcoming injuries, right? Because what have we seen here in the play-in tournament? Zion's done, and apparently Jimmy Butler tore his MCL. How the hell did he play on a torn MCL last night, by the way? I love Jimmy. I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan. But anyway, he's injured now. There's a mental side of overcoming it. And I think for Donovan, with the bone bruise in the knee, with the PRP injections, and with the time off, it's almost like he needs to unlock and prove to himself that knee is back. Like, I think anybody that's ever had an injury before, the first time that you really test it, you remember Rookie of the Year? Remember that movie with Thomas Ian Nicholas where he broke his arm and he was throwing and all that kind of stuff? And Gary Busey, why they cast him for that role, I don't know.
Wouldn't he make an insane Two-Face?
Because he's nuts?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know another great Gary Busey movie that was on the other day? Predator 2. He plays the scummy, like, CIA guy opposite of Danny Glover. Predator 2 holds up, by the way. Predator 1 is one of the greatest movies ever. Like, literally a top 10 movie for me. Predator 2, not bad. Anyway, I started talking. Gary Busey in that movie had shoulder arm problems, and he said, I don't know what would happen to my arm if I heat it back up. And he's talking about fully throwing. Spoiler alert, he tears out his arm at the end of the movie. But I think about that a little with Donovan. I don't know if he knows what his knee is going to do when he heats it back up, when he is driving full steam to the rack. Now, there's an element of if he does it and then he feels a twinge or he feels like it's not there. It became apparent as he was battling through this knee injury, he was not 100% because he wasn't explosive. I think he even said that, right? He didn't feel the explosiveness out of his knee. I'm geared up for this series. I think the Cavs are winning this series, and I think they're winning on Saturday. They can't do it without Donovan Mitchell. Yes, the sky is blue. I understand that. But it's also Donovan being at 100%. And I think it's Donovan, like, does that not give a wave of relief to the team if they see him early in that game just blow by Paolo Banchero for a layup or drive into the lane for a contested shot? That is the stuff that's going to give the rest of the team like, all right, man, he's back. He's back. Here we go. I hope that's where we're at. So hearing him talk about his own confidence, that he feels good about where his knee is at, some of the best news I could have got this week, right? Let alone that he says the knee feels 100%, but I thought it was so important that he said physically but also mentally he's feeling 100%, because you know the other offshoot about the mental side of things. It's all the stuff that makes us go crazy. What's going on this offseason? JB, Garland, Mitchell, all this stuff that's going on. I need these guys laser focused. I need these guys focused on this series coming up because, listen, I think the Cavs are better than the Orlando Magic. I do. But they're not so good that they can't be focused. And I think there's a rarefied air of teams that can go in a series not focused and win. I need the Cavs on their P's and Q's. So far, this week, practice, rest there for Mitchell, which is great. But I need them on this series and ready to go. And I still feel confident, but I just loved hearing that from Donovan, that he's good to go mentally and physically. That's some of the best news we could have got.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the same way it was the whole regular season. We're going to go as Donovan goes. We
Yeah.
clearly are not a playoff team without Donovan Mitchell. That's not even really a question. And you're right. I do think it's contagious. When you get to the NBA playoffs and you see your best player going off, of course, you're going to want to take a step up too. And like we said, obviously, this whole season, we talked about being on quote-unquote audition for Donovan Mitchell to sign this extension. So, God, I pray that we make this first round. And like you said, I'm not really worried about if it goes to 5, if it goes to 6, if it goes to 7 games necessarily. I would like the rest, don't get me wrong, given that you're going to Boston. But I did want to talk about that play-in, Matt.
Real quick, we got news on Jimmy Butler. Weeks.
Yeah, I saw that.
Suspected MCL injury per Shams.
Yeah,
what a blow.
They're cooked.
Damn.
But I was saying...
I don't know about I think they'll still beat the Bulls tomorrow. Are you talking about cooked if they make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going to win tomorrow. I still think they can beat the Bulls, but you're right. Yeah,
honestly, I don't know. The Bulls are a scrappy team.
We'll get into those games. I got to take off of those games when it comes.
I was watching that game
team.
last night. First of all, I got to get this off my chest. God, I can't express how much I hate watching Joel Embiid play basketball.
Why? Because he's sitting there huffing and puffing up and down the court every time. He did not look like he was having fun last night. He looked like he was just so tired. He looked so beat down in that game. Why don't you like watching Embiid play?
Because he just flops the whole time.
What
do you mean?
I mean,
Did you see that one play with Bam Adebayo?
Yeah.
Played tremendous defense,
Yeah.
and he just.
There were some questions. I thought the fouls last night, because I watched a lot of that game too. I was intently interested in that game, but it was weird that they let him be physical at times. And other times they called ticky-tack fouls. Embiid hit some clutch threes. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so on one side of things, I had the Heat +5. I took another side bet. Philly money line, Bulls -2.5. Thank you very much. So I was sweating bullets for that game last night for the 76ers. Not to cut your take off, here's my take on this. For anybody that was arguing about the Cavs avoiding the 76ers, good. Did you watch them last night? And there are people that want to come out of that and say Philly looked bad and, oh my God, they're beat. No, I'm the opposite side, man. They blanked around for a half and still came back on the Heat. That scared me more than anything. Now, it's going to be an interesting series with the Bucks. That's going to be a really interesting series with the Bucks. Or no. They have the Knicks. What am I saying? They got the Knicks.
They're beating the Knicks.
I think so too.
Well, that was my whole point. Was I wanted the Heat to. I wanted the Heat to win really bad because I wanted Philadelphia to get the 8 seed, so they'd be matched up with Boston, and at the very least take them to 7 games.
Does that not just lay up now for Boston, man? I think with Jimmy, that could have been an interesting series. That path for Boston, just go ahead.
That's what I said. That's why I wanted Philly to win. At least take them to 6 or 7 games. Get them tired.
Yeah. I mean, there's a means to an end with the Cavs because you're waiting the winner of that series right there too. Yeah, I mean, that's future. Watching that game, though, you tell me, man, I don't know if the Cavs would beat the Phillies. I'm with you. I think Philly might be able to beat the Knicks in 7. If Embiid can get, dude,
I said weeks ago I don't want the 76ers.
That's what I'm saying. That is my point for some of the people that were upset on how the Cavs finished out the season. Well, we're running from, we ran from that team, man, because they're pretty damn good. They are really good on that. So you avoided that. Well done on the Cavs. 76ers, though, Embiid looked gassed. He was sucking eggs out there. Every time I saw him, he was hunched over trying to catch his breath. And they ain't going anywhere without him. I mean, Nicholas Batum, great, showing up. Bit of an off-game there for Tyrese Maxey, was it not? 19? I mean, it was a lot of fun to watch, though. Play-in tournament. I know the NBA doesn't need me to tell them this, but well done. I think that's fun. I think it's a lot of fun to watch. Now, the thing is, you'd be saying no because Jimmy Butler got hurt. Didn't get hurt in a playoff series, got hurt in the play-in tournament. But I also look at it, now the rest of these teams, the added value of not getting down there and trying to be a top seed so you get this week off of rest. Tell me the Pelicans and the Heat didn't want to be sitting at home this week. They lost Zion and Jimmy. Lost them. Done. At this point, they might as well lose it out. Seriously. Then you're back in the lottery at least. I don't know if they have picks. I don't know if they traded away their picks, but still, like, you really think you're winning a 7-game series without Zion or Jimmy on their teams? I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
So watching those games last night, to try to apply it maybe on how the Cavs series will go, that was my thing about watching the referees. Browns made a signing. Jermaine Ifedi started 49 career games at right tackle and a right guard. Bills active roster, but he's now with the Browns.
Did you see the Joe Milton thing?
No.
They're talking about potentially some GMs think he could make a nice tight end in the league.
I hate that crap.
Probably the same ones that said Lamar should transition to receiver.
Cam, all those guys. I mean, I get it. Like, I would like Joe Milton here to try to play quarterback. And eventually, like, there could be a move eventually. But give him the shot. At least give him the chance to do it. I like Joe Milton later in the draft for the Browns, but we digress. Back to the Cavs. I wanted to see about what those games were going to look like because I picture what would the Cavs look like in those series? What would that Cavs look like in that game last night? And it reminds me a little bit about the intensity. But coming off of Nick Batum, I look at Max Strus, I look at George Niang, like some of those guys that you might need some of these guys to step up and have some sort of career game. Kobe White, who already had a career year. What did he almost triple his career average this past season? So he stepped up for the Bulls. But that puts more of that onus on some of these other guys. And you know who I really thought of? Darius Garland. Garland is such a polarizing figure for the Cavs right now. We know Allen, we know Mobley, we know Mitchell. You want to win this series, you're going to need 20-point games out of Darius Garland. The guard play of the importance of bringing it up the court and what you see. And I know Mitchell is probably going to be your primary ball handler now that he's healthy and ready to go and the offense looks better with it. I'm going to need some threes. I'm going to need Darius Garland to step up in this series. Watching these games, you realize you have your star player. You ain't going anywhere without your star players. So once you take off that star players, that is when you win games in series, is that next tier of guys. And I look at the Cavs against specifically just the Magic right now. Ryan, they're better. They're better on that next tier, in my opinion, than Orlando. So there's no reason that they shouldn't win this series out. I have them in 6.
That's the thing. If Darius Garland's 3 is off, I don't see him being very effective one bit against the Magic because he's going to be on, or Jalen Suggs is going to be his primary defender probably the whole entire game. And if he's not like on those screens, if he's not shooting threes, like he might be cooked, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about where the Cavs are going to be able to play too against Orlando, they're a defensive team and they don't shoot a lot of threes. Orlando is not efficient, nor do they shoot a lot of threes. So the thing is, if you can start splashing some, which should be the Cavs, I don't want to say bread and butter because it's not, but you saw them at times really improve in that area this season. If you can do what that squeeze that you just put on the Magic when you come down. What was that game yesterday? What were the big swings? Threes. Batum hits one, and then freaking Tyler Hero with a hand in his face.
Would you trade Darius Garland for Tyler Hero?
Yeah.
Switch Donovan to primary?
Mm-hmm. I crap on Tyler Hero, and man, does he splash threes like nobody's business. Can I just... Okay. Never mind. I don't want to do it. Can he please just shave those little, like, they look like...
You don't like it?
You know what they look like, Ryan. I don't want to say it here on the air. You know what Tyler Hero looks like right there on the... don't do it, man. Don't do it. Just shave it off. It looks really bad.
You can say it.
No, I can't. I don't want to say it.
Rhymes with cubes?
Yeah, exactly. They just let it go, man. Just cut it off. Just cut it off. I couldn't stop staring at it, honestly. Like every time they pan to Tyler Hero, he's just got these little strands right here.
That's what I'd look like if I tried to grow a beard.
Don't. You look fine the way you do. You look fine the way that you do.
I tried to grow out that mustache one time, and
mustache is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That one guy, that Jaime guy, he looks like he's ready to pull out a sword and swashbuckle with you because he's got this with the little mustache. He looks like Zorro.
He's a dog.
He is. He's a good player too. He's a good player too. I'm not trying to rip down all the facial hair here of the Miami Heat guys, but to Tyler Hero, just don't do it. I just cut that. It's distracting. It's extremely distracting, is what it is.
Maybe it's like AD's unibrow.
That is also very distracting.
But that's his thing.
Does it have to be his thing, though?
He's the brow.
Yeah, but can't you find something else? Does that have to be it? I don't know. There's something distracting. Now, unfortunately, I think a lot of people, now that I said that to you, you're going to, every time you see Tyler Hero, just stare at the little patch that he's got there. It's a little weird. All right, we got the playing games tomorrow. Excited about that. Let's talk a little guards for a second. Yesterday, did not like the approach. They swung at a lot of early pitches. That guy pulled a Maddox, complete game, under 100 pitches. That tells you not so much about the pitcher. And I got people that are telling me, oh, man, that guy's really on. When you have that low of a pitch count, guys aren't working counts. They're swinging early. It is what it is. But, hey, man, I'm stalling on the guards. You got a chance to win this series today. Carrasco on the hill. Our boost is up at Tipico. You're going to have games like this. And it's going to take a lot more, I would say even a week of bad baseball, which we certainly have not had. This team is great. This team is fun. And now you get a weekend series against Oakland coming in. You can get fat, get right back on the horse. I want them to win it out today, which I think they will. Win it out today. Get some momentum to the weekend. I'm starting to hear, Ryan, that there might be a lot of people at that ballpark this weekend. You're back at home. You're on a good streak. I haven't checked the weather. I think it's supposed to rain a little bit. And Saturday's going to be, tell me downtown's not going to be buzzing on Saturday. You got a 1 o'clock playoff game. You got the Guardians at night. Go for the 2-4. Go for the 2-4. Get tickets for the Cavs and go over to the Guardians game right after. If I didn't have gaming weekend, I'd be there. That's what I'd be doing.
Do you see game 3 of the Cavs is right during the draft?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That kind of sucks, though.
In the first round?
Yeah.
Oh, what are we going to pick? Who cares?
But I still like watching it.
You got 2 TVs. Pull it up on the app. I'm in bed at night now watching the Cavs on my phone, and then or the Guardians on my phone, and then I got the NBA game up on my iPad. I just sit there all night. The screens are blaring. It's probably why I don't sleep well. Oh, no, wait, I have 2 kids. That's why I don't sleep well. But anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. So guards, I'm not reading too much into that. Lively with a good start now. So now I think about where the rotation is going to be at. It's all about giving Stephen Vogt options. Like when I think about the job that Stephen Vogt has done for this team so far, there's not been a glaring mistake. Eventually there probably will be. But what I wanted was options. Now that you have to figure out this 5th starter, options. With the lineup, I see him changing things out a little bit here. You got to give Gabriel Arias some at-bats now. What you're doing in the outfield. Figure all that out. But you're giving Vogt at least options to play some games with.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and overreact to one start, but it is.
No, they didn't have a book on him. I get sure. I'm 100%
but
with
it's
you.
very. I'm saying it is encouraging that Xavier Curry, now Ben Lively, have looked better than Tristan McKenzie and Tanner Bybee, and it's one start as I mentioned, but it is nice to have options.
Well,
but then it gets back like if things do keep going south for guys like Tanner Bybee and McKenzie. When Gavin Williams comes back, I mean, are you going to consider?
No. Though I'm not taking either one of those guys out of the rotation unless they're hurt.
Even if they keep pitching
yeah.
stinkers and Curry and Lively are doing good?
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Because
Why?
one of those guys, Lively or Curry, I think they're your starters. They're your starters. And have they shown me enough to give me the blind faith that I'm giving them? No, I understand that. They're second-year guys. Maybe more Logan Allen. I think Tanner Bybee, you leave him in there unless he gets it. Because the only way out of that, it's like basketball. You keep shooting until you get out of it. You keep Tanner Bybee out there until he figures it out. And I'm not, I guess maybe I'm not really that concerned that he's not going to find his way out of it. It was a couple bad starts in a row. So what? Get back, get fat this weekend against Oakland. Isn't he pitching this weekend? I think he's got Saturday, does he not? He should, I think, right? Guardians, schedule. All right, so we got Carrasco today. McKenzie goes Friday. Bybee goes Sunday. Bybee goes Sunday against the A's. And Logan Allen goes Saturday. Good. Get back on track. Get back on track with those guys. To Lively and Xavier Curry, one of those guys will go to the bullpen, and maybe when Gavin Williams comes back. But you, me, and everybody know eventually somebody else is going to get hurt. And Carrasco, who's been fine so far, I think today
he's been better than Bybee and
mean,
McKenzie.
Today might be a really big start for Carlos Carrasco. Because if he goes out there and pitches really well today at 135, then maybe you keep him in the rotation. If he struggles, then maybe you're going to be more apt to put Xavier Curry or Ben Lively into that rotation. The thing is, those guys I think all 3 of those guys are also bullpen options. I don't see Tanner Bybee or Logan Allen be bullpen options right now. Keep him in there until the wheels fall off. Hopefully they'll turn it around. But Guardians back in action today. Again, get betting with Tipico. Our boost is up for today. Use that code Fontana100 when you sign up, and we'll get to that. Got plenty coming up, including the cringeworthy thing that everybody is talking about right now. And it's this reporter with Caitlin Clark. I've got an opinion on it. We'll get to it. Is Barry at 10 a.m. today? I thought he was at 11. Or he's at 10. So we'll have plenty of reaction to Andrew Barry coming up. All right. Hold on to that. So we'll get some Barry comments coming out. I hope the restructure will be a question there. So we got that. We'll get to the Caitlin Clark cringe thing. We'll get to what all of it coming up with the morning update. Folks, big play. Big day for us on Thursdays. Why? We got the Big Play Cincinnati show. They've been teasing something. I've seen it all across social media. I think it's a draft-related thing tonight on the Big Play Cincinnati.
Mock, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So they'll get that tonight.
We need to do one.
You want to do one next week?
Sure.
Run through? We can do that. Do we get Booby's World this week?
Tomorrow.
Booby will be tomorrow. Folks, big plays everywhere that you need. I saw Chico yesterday. I think he had Chris Fedor on. It's all over, folks. BigPlay.com is our website. But just go to social media. Go to Twitter. Go to Instagram. Go to YouTube. And you will see Big Play. Some of it is Big Play CLE. But we have branched out. We're in Columbus. We're in Cincinnati. I almost just accidentally said where we'll be next. That's right. We're expanding out to yet another city here close to Cleveland. Hold on to that. And the biggest news coming, folks. We have something that's going to change how you view and watch our show. I'm really excited about that. I'm very excited to make the announcement, or whoever will make the announcement coming up on that. For next week, Dane Brugler on the Big Play Cleveland show on Monday. It's the content that you want. It's the people that you want. It's when and where you want. It's so easy. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram for the reels, but the live shows are Twitter and YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're like the only show on Twitch, but at Matt Fontana Show. It's everywhere that you need it, folks. It's so easy to check it out. Please do. At Matt Fontana Show. We're creeping towards 600. Are you still over 1,000? You didn't lose one? All right, good. Ryan's still over 1,000. Ryan Tyler 33. And I'm, of course, at Matt Fontana 83. Drop us a follow across the board. All right, let's catch a break. When we come back, we'll have the morning update, and we'll have live updates from Andrew Berry as we go. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay with us.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
That's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
How does an Ohioan build the perfect parlay?
Who's got something? Big guys looking for long odds. The kids in Columbus are covering better than anyone, and at even odds. If it's even, I'm leaving. Listen, our championship DVD starts today, all right? Dude, I just got an invite to a Cincy playoff watch party. Shut up. Cincy, State, Cleveland, the perfect parlay. I'm a genius.
For the best odds on Ohio sports, bet with your cojones.
It is Spanish, dummy.
Bet with Typical Sportsbook.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
All right, welcome back. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Andrew Berry is going to be taken to the press conference room in just a second. So here's what I want to do. I want to run through the morning update. There's very pressing issues there. And then when we're done, we'll have some of the things to react to from Berry as they're going to be coming out from Berea. And Ryan, I might just jump into the morning update with things that we see from Andrew Berry or not. So stay with us. We got a lot going on. Get to the grid. Browns are in the grid today. Let's get to it, though. Morning update. Take it away, Ryan.
Alrighty, well, the Guardians are back in action again against the Red Sox today. First pitch slated for 1:35. Good old Cookie Carrasco gets the start. Yesterday, they dropped 1 2-0. Couldn't get any run production as they look to win the series against Boston today.
That's it. Just win the series. You're a playoff team when you win the series. That's all I ask for. Boston is a semi-decent team, but even if they split, so what? I mean, that's pretty good. You can get fat on Oakland. You see Boston back in town next week. But then I'm already staring down a barrel, Ryan, of a 2-city, 6-game road trip starting in 2 weeks, Atlanta and Houston. That might be another big one. So you got a little test against the Yankees. You didn't
Houston poop?
I mean, I still think that they're the Houston Astros, but yeah, to your point, they've not up to a great start. So there's something to be said about the momentum that you're going to grab with that kind of stuff. And, of course, Atlanta, they're right with us. Isn't that nice? You're in the same conversation, the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, man.
Like one of the best teams in baseball. So I'd like to get a win today. Win series, you're a playoff team. That's how it goes. Best of luck to Cookie Carrasco today. I like the 1 o'clock games, too. I always like the 1:30 games. A little afternoon delight for you.
All right, we're 2 days away from Game 1 of the first round of the NBA playoffs. We know our Cavaliers are taking on the Orlando Magic. Got a good update from star Donovan Mitchell as he says he feels 100% healthy, both physically and mentally.
That's good. That's what you want to hear. I hope that actually translates to the games. I mean, he could be feeling that way right now. You don't want to tweak something. But the fact that it kind of just even sounded like from Donovan, there was no hesitancy with him. You know what I mean? Like he feels like he's back. Good. Keep it that way. We all know we're not going anywhere without Donovan Mitchell, so I'm glad to hear that he's doing all right.
Well, the NBA play-in tournament is coming to a close. Last night, the 76ers beat the Miami Heat. They will be the 7th seed taking on the Knicks. Meanwhile, Friday, we'll get the Heat versus the Bulls to decide who will be the 8th seed and play the Celtics. Flip it over to the West, Matt. Friday, we get Pelicans-Kings. And you've been pretty hot in this play-in tournament.
Yeah, we'll get our picks tomorrow. I'm leaning Kings. I'm leaning Bulls. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm still going to take the Heat. I know they're not going to have Jimmy Butler for that game, but I still think the Heat are the better team. You know, Kobe White has been a great story. You can't forget about DeMar DeRozan. I think that'd be a tough game. I'll tell you what. All right, let me ask you this. What do you think the spread between the Bulls and the Heat without Jimmy Butler would be? It is in Miami. It's a 1.5
I was going to
spread.
say 1.5.
If it was 3 or 4, I might take the Bulls. I'll ride with Miami. I don't like it, but I'll still take Miami in that game. And then the other one, Kings. I don't think the Pelicans have anything without Zion.
All right, well, Matt, the Jonte Porter gambling scandal has seemed to come to a conclusion.
Yes.
We're sure to get more details in the coming days, weeks, and months. But Adam Silver announced that they have given Porter a lifetime ban from the NBA.
What else are they going to do? Seriously, what else can they do? And I thought Ben Axelrod had a great tweet from Awful Announcing to say, stop with the, they take money from the gambling people. That doesn't hold water anymore. There's no more about that debate. In today's day and age where sports gambling is everywhere, you have got to keep the integrity of the game. And I'm sorry to these players, you can't bet. You just can't. That is what you take on when you become a professional athlete. Now, there are rules. You can bet on other sports. Sure, do whatever you want. You cannot compromise the integrity of the game because then you're talking about the rest of us losing money. If I had money on Jonte Porter and I lost it, I'm going to be pissed. And especially when there was clearly something going. The whole point of sports betting is it is supposed to be on an even playing field. The players play it out. There's no mafia guys standing in the locker room reminding them what they should or shouldn't be doing. I can't have that. In these billions and billions and billions of dollars that's getting thrown around, not just with teams and organizations, but in sports, you can't have that. There is no other recourse other than a permanent lifetime ban. And it's a nice reminder for people. And I've got no time for anybody. They take money from these. Of course they do. Of course they do. Because it's a lot of money. You can't mess with that. Because what happens? People then start to go, I can't trust the NBA. Maybe I'm not going to bet on the NBA anymore. That's not ever happened. People will always bet as it goes. But the reason that you have fun betting is because you believe it's on the up and up. You have fun doing it because you think there's a chance for. Do you ever place a bet that you don't think is going to win? No. Every time you click it on Tipico, you think it's going through. So you want no outside forces to try to tell you that ain't happened. The other thing, we are now in a time that it's no longer you go to a bookie's house. And, I'm going to create a scenario. I never lived this, of course, but your dad on the way home after work and he pulls off at his friend's house and he walks in and he's putting down some cash and he walks out and he goes home and he's got a little ticket in his pocket, right? That's not the world we live in anymore. You want to know one of the most easily trackable things in this world? This. Your phone. When you place these bets, you're going to get found out, but it brings another level of legitimacy to this. Why do you have to put in your address, Ryan? Because you get taxed on this. Because it's meant to be kept on the up and up. It's no more going to a buddy's. I'm not saying you don't do it with your friends, and there's a very real potential for that, but it's just so much easier now, is it not, to do it? And I guess there'll always be people that are trying to fight off the, the IRS and things like that. But in today's day and age where it's so easily trackable, it's in everything now. Everything with sports is gambling. So much so that we are so much closer to eventually them just putting spreads right there on the ticker. Right? I'm not talking about they do that, but I'm talking about in the game. I'm talking about in the game on the little score bug at the bottom. Eventually, there'll be live spreads there. There will be live odds there because that's how it rolls. ESPN's got their own betting platform. Everybody's got a betting partner. It's the world that we live in. Adapt or die. Get used to it or don't. And part of that has got to be telling these players that if you do it and you compromise this integrity, you will have the severe, most harshest punishment you can get, which will be banishment. And that there's no other way to do it. They did the right thing. I'm sorry to Jonte Porter. That sucks for him. He made his decisions, but Adam Silver had to do it, and he did.
Well, Matt, there was some controversy and cringiness in the in the introductory press conference for number 1 overall pick in the WNBA draft, Caitlin Clark for the Indiana Fever. Greg Doyle of the Indiana Star made some comments that a lot of people found inappropriate, creepy, and cringy.
So what he did was he did her heart thing. And then she said something about how she does it to her family after the game. And then in a moment, he thought he was being funny, and he goes, well, if you just do it to me, then we'll get along just fine.
Well, before that, he said, which in a very creepy manner, he said, I'm trying to say it how he's like, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. And I did find it rather peculiar.
Okay.
And he has a history, I suppose.
I know that I saw the tweets this morning that people are going back to his Twitter and finding all these things of what he said. I want to believe and give the benefit of the doubt that it was just a creepy momentary exchange where he thought he was being funny. Here's the thing, and I've seen this a lot in my career. When new players come to town, and it doesn't even have to be a star player like Caitlin Clark, you see reporters try to get chummy with them. They try to ask them funny questions, or they try to get them to remember their name. So then that is building a relationship. Part of the reason why local in-person reporting is still important is because of relationships, because that players then know people in the media and they can ask questions. And then that's the importance of having people in locker rooms, is to build relationships. You know, I covered the Browns. I never considered myself a reporter, but I built relationships with people. That's what I think this guy was trying to do. Now, did it come off extremely creepy? Yes. And it brought up a big conversation about how women athletes are viewed or treated in these press conferences or things like that, where it's different. Now, to this guy, my question is this his first time covering the Indiana Fever? I don't know. I'm asking the question, right? Did he not ask questions to other female athletes in the past? I don't know. Did he get kind of starstruck because he's asking Caitlin Clark questions? The other thing that you get with reporters sometimes, they ain't knocking the hustle here at all. They all want to ask questions that get aggregated and get up on social media and get up on SportsCenter and things like that. So there's an inherent pressure to try to ask those type of questions. And it came off wrong. And it came off bad. And he's getting dragged for it. I hope there wasn't. I really don't think there was a creepiness behind it. I think he just got caught in the moment. He said something he probably shouldn't have. I get the angle he was trying to go to. He was trying to create a relationship with the heart thing and trying to get Caitlin to know who he is so they can build a relationship, and it came off extremely, extremely creepy.
He turned his apology into a column for the Indiana Star in which they removed the paywall for that specific article.
Yeah,
that was rather interesting.
I get it. And, yeah, I mean, I understand why people are, I don't want to say, would you say you're upset by it? I think it's just something that people are going to have to learn when you have these female athletes that are up in this power that it is.
And then it begs the question of, do we treat female athletes differently?
Shouldn't. That's Caitlin Clark, one of the best basketball players in the world right now. Ask her questions about basketball. You want to ask her questions about her personal life, sure. But, there is that element. And then to the flip side about female media people, too. that are in there and how they're viewed in locker rooms by male athletes. That's something, go talk to Mary Kay about that. She'd be the perfect person to discuss as a female in a male-dominated sport. She was a trailblazer. Marla Ridnour, trailblazer here in Northeast Ohio as women covering teams. Cam Justice, a little on the younger side and just kind of got in this, but again, she's in there. She's doing these questions. And I would tell you, just in my interactions out there with the Browns, everything was above board and everything was respectful, but there's something to be said about that. That's not an easy thing to do. There's a learning curve that we all have to have that we need to get there with, frankly. There should be female reporters and there should be female star athletes. The other thing everybody's complaining about, rightly so, is Caitlin Clark. She's making pennies. Nothing. You got bottom feeding NBA guys that are making 3, 4, 7 times the amount of money that Caitlin Clark is. That's the travesty in this whole thing. She's also getting a signature shoe. Did you see that? Nike's coming out with the Caitlin Clark.
She just signed a $10 million deal.
Good for her. Good for her. I would too.
Would you?
Yeah, I would too. I would too. Good for her. I can't wait to see what her shoe's going to be.
I wouldn't.
Well, people are going to be upset because there was some pushback that Asia Wilson still doesn't have one, but Caitlin Clark does. Well, Caitlin Clark's the star. I don't know what to tell you. All right, you want to run through some things with Barry before we get to the grid?
Sure.
So at this point, which again, Andrew Barry's speaking right now, so let's react to some of the things. Shout out to Scott Petrak. He's live tweeting this. Barry said, not having a first-round pick for the last 3 years does not lessen the excitement inside the draft building. The personnel department handles the process the same. Okay, I think it's harder. It's certainly harder, but I get to that point, it wouldn't lessen the excitement. If anything, it's like, all right, we got a little bit more of a mountain to climb. Let's get after it here. Barry also said not having a full slate of picks lessens flexibility to move up or down, but can still manage resources to be creative. Certainly. You have more picks, there's more opportunity to make moves. Now, I think there's opportunity. You just got to be more creative. You got to find different ways to make the moves that you want to make. That's it so far from Barry, at least from what Scott has tweeted. Nick Chubb started running on land within the last week. Progressing appropriately next few weeks and months will be big for his return. Where's the restructure question, man? I want to know. I'm just clicking as fast as I can to try to do this. Andrew Barry on Nick Chubb's rehab, we're very optimistic he's going to crush it. Okay, good. Great, hopefully. All right, you want to do the grid while we wait for some more Barry things to come on?
Let me just see where Ladd goes real quick in this mock.
What mock is that?
39 of the damn Panthers. Just a simulator.
Oh, simulator? Ladd's gone. I'm telling you probably should just prepare yourself for that for next week.
On Enter the Jungle, James Rapine proposed if
I saw that,
and I was very upset.
I saw that the Bengals would take Ladd McConkey. That'd even be worse for you because then you got to see him every year, twice a year. That just pay him. There it is. All right, Browns in this. We gotta ace this today. Up, down, left, and right. You know how the grid goes. I'd flip the grid off right now if I could, but here we go. All right, 5,000 plus career rushing yards. You can put Nick Chubb. You could put Jim Brown. You can go ahead and put. You putting Zeke?
I was gonna,
yeah. Herschel Walker counts.
Chargers.
Emmitt Smith.
Eckler.
I'd go LaDainian Tomlinson, but that's just me. You can go Austin Eckler. That's fine.
Oh, sorry.
All right, LaDainian.
How do I spell LaDainian?
L-A.
I got it.
LaDainian. Yeah, you got it? All right, there you go.
All right. Browns, Eagles.
Malik Jackson.
Jordan Poyer.
Jordan Poyer. All right, buddy. Now we're into it. Now we're into the big things. I think it really helps when we just look at this from a giant big picture standpoint and try to just run through some so if there's any easy ones, like there's any easy layups on this one. Was there not just a big move with the Chargers and the Bills? Well, I guess not right now. Wouldn't be good because then they haven't played there yet. Quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers.
Tyrod Taylor, Chargers, Bills.
Yes, that's
Wait, Tyrod Taylor didn't play for the Bills, did he?
Yeah, he did. 100%, 1,000%.
Right?
Tyrod Taylor. Let it rip. Tyrod Taylor. I knew there was one that was staring me right in the face. That'd be Tyrod Taylor. Good to go. All right, Nick Foles isn't working for any of those. Why do I keep sitting here thinking that Terrell? Oh, duh, because it's true. Terrell Owens, T.O., Cowboys, Eagles. Okay. Why do I think that there's some running back? Like, I keep thinking Emmitt Smith for some reason of Cowboys.
Did O.J. Simpson ever play for the Cowboys?
No, I think he only ever played for. I think he only ever played for Buffalo.
Did Cole Beasley play for the Cowboys?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yep.
And Bills, right?
Yeah. Actually, he played for San Francisco for a year. Talking
One
about
more.
O.J. Simpson.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
all right, let's go. We got time.
Eagles.
Chargers, Eagles. Chargers, Eagles. Chargers, Eagles. Man. Okay. Obviously, Khalil Mack, no. How do I feel like, oh, man. Josh McCown never played for the Chargers, so that doesn't work there. I keep thinking like Reggie White, like there's some, some Hall of Fame legacy player that we're missing on this one. Chargers, Eagles. Carson Wentz, no. Trying to run through quarterbacks here. Donovan McNabb, no. Randall Cunningham, I don't think so. Oh, man. It's got to be it.
Darren Sproles?
By God, Ryan!
Right?
Yes!
He played for the Chargers.
Yes! Hell yeah, he did! Click it. Click it. Click it. Come on now! Yeah! Yes! Yes! All right.
Record time.
We
too, I
are
feel like.
back, baby.
Woo!
Yes! Hell yeah!
Is there anyone you want to see?
I click a couple just to help us for the future. I was about to, I'm like, I know there was a running back. You're damn right it was Darren Sproles.
All right, Cowboys.
Yeah,
Eagles.
Cowboys, Eagles. See what you got there.
An individual. Jason Peters, Randall Cunningham.
Ah, that's a good one. All right, okay, yeah.
DeMarco Murray.
Ah, okay.
Mark
That's another-
Sanchez. I thought that.
That's it.
Herschel Walker.
There you go. I thought, yeah, something like Herschel Walker, like that would fit. Yes.
Okay, Matt, don't look at the screen. This is
I'm
your
not.
trivia. How many of the 12 Browns can you name that have 5,000 rushing in their career?
That's a great question. Okay. Okay, Nick Chubb, Jim
Wait,
Brown.
hold on, it didn't do it by. Can I do it by just? It's giving me the leading rushers. Like I don't want that.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably Google Browns with 5,000. Because just the tough part is, like, they had to have played here at any time.
Yeah.
Like, Reuben Drones, Jamal Lewis. Shoot, I would think William Green might even have 5,000. And then you go back. Biner, Kevin Mack.
Yeah, it's going to be too hard to find.
Just do this. Well, I guess if you search Browns all-time leading rushers, it would just be their time with the Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird they don't let you do that. You said there was 22?
12.
12. I'm sorry, 12. Yeah, probably pretty close. Because again, I just rip off 8 right now. I'm talking about Chubb, Jim Brown, Reuben Drones, Jamal Lewis, Mac Biner. I mean, technically, Kareem Hunt's got 5,000 career rushing yards, and he played for the Browns.
True.
I would think William Green had 5,000, but I don't know. I don't think Peyton Hillis did. Professional. Actually, no. William Green only had 2,100 in his career, so maybe not him. But yeah, I mean, that would be a pretty interesting one to go. All right, got the grid.
Got some Browns updates.
Okay, please. Thank you.
From the great Mary Kay Cabot.
Yes.
Browns Andrew Berry says that Deshaun Watson is throwing 40 yards.
Okay.
And he says that it's certainly the expectation, but won't make any guarantees that he'll be ready to start the season.
See, again, that's, I think, nothing but backing up like what Watson kind of said from when his restaurant opened. Because the restaurant opened, he goes, yeah, man, I'm good to go. And they're like, yeah, let's pump the brakes here. Certainly the expectation that Watson will be ready to start the season, but won't make any guarantees. Good. Start that. Of that being your base, and then you can work it from there. The question is preseason. Don't need to really see him in preseason. I do need to see him in training camp. I do need to see him in these joint practices with the Vikings, even in the go periods in training camp. He's not getting hit, but I need to see it. But Ryan, you were telling me that Watson apparently has been throwing 40 yards already.
That's what they said.
That sounds pretty good.
Also, an update from Daryl Ryder. Nick Chubb started, quote, running on land.
So that's good. Not in the zero gravity or anything like that. Andrew Berry on Greg Newsome trade rumors. We have 3 corners who can play press man at a high level. That's not a skill set I'm looking to give away. He's not looking to give it away, but if somebody comes calling for
All
it.
Semantics.
Not looking to give that away, yeah. I don't. That doesn't give me any change on. Again, I'm not trying to run Greg Newsome out of town. But if the best that Andrew Berry can say is I'm not looking to give this away, and you're not giving it away, if you get a good draft pick for him, I'm in. The progression from Watson, the progression from Chubb are great, and it sounds like you're in a really good spot. Because the other thing, too, is even if there was like a little setback, I don't think you want that out. At this point, it's kind of a crazy one here. At this point of their rehab, I actually don't really care. Now, come August, I'm going to care. And there are these benchmarks that you want to hear and you want. As long as everything's going good, I don't need to hear anything until August. Now, I know that the medical people and the Browns, they need to be hitting those benchmarks before August. Me as the fan, as long as you're ready to go for training camp, I don't care. You're going to need him out there for camp. There's no question on that. But if everything's going well to this point, good. And again, man, I still haven't seen it. Somebody please ask him about the restructure. Somebody's got to ask. Unless they don't think he's actually going to give the answer. Unless they just really think he's going to sidestep that so much. Oh, my God. He got asked about the kickoffs before the Watson restructure. He got asked a question about how the kickoff is going to be changed.
You need to be in there.
I can't be. It's telling me right now. I can't zoom into this. Zoom, the COVID year was really, I was doing press conferences in my basement. Sitting there just talking to you. That was nice and easy. Everybody jumped on that. We're all for it. But I'm not there right now. Yeah, really everything again. Everything's Chubb. Everything's Watson, shoulder, good. Again, maybe they just don't feel like he's going to ask, like he's just going to avoid the question. He's going to avoid it altogether. I don't know. I wish I could listen to it, but then I'd be distracted from the show. Are they streaming it?
Probably.
Would it be distracting if I plugged in to listen to it? No, they're not. They're not streaming it on their Twitter. Maybe it's Brown's YouTube. Cleveland Browns. Because obviously we can't. We're not going to take it here, but yeah, man, they're not streaming it. That's interesting. Not streaming it. All right, you want to do this? You want to catch a really early break, and then when we come back, we'll do what we've heard from Barry, and then we'll also jump into time hop, everything else we got to do. All right, so let's catch a break. We come back. We'll have more from Andrew Barry. Stay with us.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just, that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice, beefy 255, playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
How does an Ohioan build the perfect parlay?
Who's got something? Big guys looking for long odds. The kids in Columbus are covering better than anyone, and at even odds. If it's even, I'm leaving. Listen, our championship DVD starts today, all right? Dude, I just got an invite to a Cincy playoff watch party. Shut up. Cincy, State, Cleveland, the perfect parlay. I'm a genius.
For the best odds on Ohio sports, bet with your cojones.
It is Spanish, dummy.
Bet with Typical Sportsbook.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
No, sorry, it's not 10 o'clock. You want to do time hop real quick? You want to do time? You want to flip
I
over
meant
to time?
to click time hop.
All right,
I'm
click
loading
time
up
hop. Let's do that. I don't want to confuse the people out there.
Oh, you want me to click it?
You click it. Go for it. Yeah. All right, here we go. Oh, a little crossover action there. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, we'll get more from Andrew Berry because really nothing is coming out. The fact he's been asked about the kickoff and the college transfer portal before he's been asked about the Watson restructure. At least from what I'm seeing. Maybe he's asked and everybody tweeted it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But nonetheless, let's get to a little bit of time up. I'll tell you what happened, including 1 year ago today, Browns OTA availability. Deshaun Watson said he had the opportunity to prove this season who he really can be. Well, injuries. We hope that this season applies for there. The other thing we were talking a lot about was, remember when Myles Garrett broke his toe at the Pro Bowl games?
Yeah.
He said last year, 1 year ago today, that everybody he talked to, nobody liked the Pro Bowl games. Pro Bowl's useless. They sell it on TV because they have to, but it is a waste of everyone's time. That was 1 year ago today. 2 years ago today, the Browns signed Denzel Ward. 5 years, $100 million with $71 million guaranteed. He became the highest paid corner in NFL history at that time. That deal still hold up? Probably.
No.
Who got?
I think he's like the fourth now.
Hang on, corner. Did Diggs get one?
The guy from the Bears. I can't remember his name. Jalen Johnson.
Oh, Jalen Johnson. All right, so Denzel Ward on average per year is still second, but only behind Jair Alexander. No, man. No, his deal is still the highest in NFL history.
It still is?
Yeah, for guaranteed money and total value. Jalen Ramsey signed a $100 million one, but Denzel's got him by $500,000. Marlon Humphrey, 97. Trevon Diggs, 97. Lattimore, 97. L'Jarius Sneed got
Jalen Johnson just signed?
He got a $76 million deal. 43 fully guaranteed. So, yeah, Denzel Ward, still to this day, the highest paid corner in NFL history. This day, 2018, Cavs-Pacers, Game 2 of the playoffs. Cavs get a 100-97 win. Series was then tied up at 1 apiece. Want the box score here? 17-18 Cavs. Here we go. Schedule and results. Oh, playoffs. Series stats. Here we go. Of course, we'd go to 7 with them. Cavs got the win behind 46 from LeBron. Victor Oladipo had 22 for the Pacers. Miles Turner 18. LeBron had 46. Next highest score was Kevin Love with 15. Just dragging bodies to the NBA Finals that year with LeBron. This day, 2009, the NBA owners approved the Supersonics to leave Seattle and go to Oklahoma City. So I know the Phoenix Coyotes are leaving the NHL team. They had their final game. The NBA expansion is probably coming, right? Like, they got to add some more, but then where would they go? They go back to Seattle? Like, where else would they put an NBA team? They're going to Vegas. We know that. Would they move a team there?
Probably.
If you had to move an NBA team to Vegas, which team would you move?
That's a good question. Maybe...
Like, Memphis just got back, so that's probably not it. New Orleans, no, probably not. Like, Oklahoma City's, you got to be down in, you got to, like...
Jazz? I don't think they would.
I don't think so, though. I think you just have to expand. So if you're going to expand, you want to keep an even number. Got another team. Why don't you get us the Seattle Supersonics back? We'll take them back. I'd take them back any day of the week. So, but unfortunately, they left this day 2009. This day, also 2009, Indians beat the Yankees 22-4. They scored 12 runs in the second inning. That was the most against the Yankees in a single inning in team history for the Yankees. As Drupal Cabrera had a grand slam, Mark DeRosa and Sin-Soo Choo each hit 3-run home runs, and then Hafner, Victor Martinez, and Grady Sizemore all hit solo home runs. Damn. This day, 2009, we beat them 22-14. This day, 1999, Wayne Gretzky played his final game in the NHL. Of course, the great one. This day, 1998, Bill Polian probably made the best decision of his career for the Indianapolis Colts when he announced they would be taking Peyton Manning first overall. Ryan Leaf was there. People thought it. Manning goes 1. Ryan Leaf goes 2. Andre Wadsworth, a defensive end, goes 3. 1 pick in front of Hall of Famer Charles Woodson, who goes 4. Fred Taylor, the running back, was in the first round. Takeo Spikes, first-round pick, and at 21st overall, the Minnesota Vikings select wide receiver out of Marshall, Randy Moss. What a pick that was. Alan Faneca went 26 in this draft as a Hall of Famer. Hines Ward also went in this draft. Trying to see. Pat Surtain Sr. went in this draft, 1998. Of course, Browns were not around, so we did not make a pick. Hall of Famers in this draft: Randy Moss, Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, and Alan Faneca. Those are the 4, and they all went in the first round. This day, 1998. This day, 1982, Cavs fall to Detroit 116-103 in overtime to end their season. That was their 19th straight loss for the Cavs, which at the time was an NBA record. They also came back on a losing streak to start the next season. And, of course, we know the Cavs of the Byron Scott era would go ahead and end that out for the longest streak in losing streak in Cavs history. Also famously about Yankee Stadium, this day 1923, Babe Ruth hit his first home run at Yankee Stadium. This day 1923. This day 1918, Triz Speaker turned an unassisted triple play for the Indians, as Drew Cabrera did it, quite a few years ago at this point, but did it recently. This day, 1775, the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere.
Nice.
What is it, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea?
Yeah.
Isn't that also something that they look back on and like, it didn't actually happen like a lot of people thought it did? Is that not true?
I have no idea.
I mean, it got famous from the poem. I know that.
By, who wrote that?
It was an Andrew Wadsworth
Longfellow.
Yeah, whatever his first name was.
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
That's what it was. That's what it was. The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, a poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. It was an alert to the colonial militia in the approach of the British forces. The ride occurred on the night of April 18th, 1775, immediately before the first engagements of the Revolutionary War. The British Army was actively indicated a planned crackdown on the Massachusetts Provincial Congress. Paul Revere and William Dawes prepared the alert, which would begin with Robert Newman of Boston's Old Church using a lantern to signal alert colonists of the Army's advance by way of the Charles River. Revere and Dawes then rode to meet John Hancock and Samuel Adams in Lexington, 10 miles distance, alerting 40 other riders along the way to like spread out and say, hey, they're coming. Eventually, Revere, Dawes, and Samuel Prescott were captured by British troops, but escaped. Revere returned to Lexington and was freed after questioning. The ride has been commemorated in a range of cultural depiction, most notably Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem, Paul Revere's Ride in 1861, despite the poem's factual and historical inaccuracies. That's what it was. Preparation, the ride. Trying to think, was it not 1 by land, 2 by sea, something like that?
Sure,
I
yeah.
think that's what. The ride of the 3 men triggered a flexible system of alarm and muster, like muster arms, that had been carefully developed months before. How they escaped. Prescott jumped on his horse and jumped over a wall and escaped into the woods. Dawes also escaped, although he fell off his horse not long after and didn't complete the ride. Revere was captured and questioned, held at gunpoint. He told them of the Army's movement in Boston and that British Army troops would be soon in danger if they approached Lexington. Trying to find the inaccuracies here. So basically the whole point is, too, like, everybody gives Paul Revere credit, but there was actually a lot of other people in that. He changed poems for the fact... Yeah, it's pretty much that there were other people involved in this. There was other people, but really, Paul Revere's Ride.
Really whooped their ass.
Yeah, there it is. Take that. This day, let's go happy birthdays here. We really shouldn't wish Miggy Cabrera happy birthday because he has just beaten my baseball team more over than almost anybody. But
you didn't mention Superman.
What do you mean?
I think I saw on Twitter this day he was introduced.
Was he?
In Cleveland.
I saw that too. Hang on.
It's right up your alley.
Yeah, but like the first comic didn't come out until... Oh, I guess it was published in 1938. The cover date was for June. I'm sorry, I did miss that. I'll put that in right now. 1938. Superman debuts in DC Comics. 1938. Of course, Cleveland's own. We get our Superman suit later today, by the way. They're doing that because they're all excited about the day. Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster met at Glenville High School in Cleveland, bonded over their admiration of fiction. Siegel aspired to become a writer. Shuster aspired to become an illustrator. And in 1933, they published a short story, The Reign of Superman. The title of character was a homeless man named Bill Dunn who had tricked an evil scientist into consuming an experimental drug. It gave him powers of mind reading, mind control, and clairvoyance. He used these powers for profit and amusement, but then the drug wears off, leaving him a powerless vagrant again. That eventually then would turn into Superman. 1930. If you could have one of Superman's powers, which one would you take? Strength, ability to fly, heat vision.
Probably flying.
X-ray vision.
Flying.
I think flying. Probably strength. I think strength would be pretty cool. Strength would be pretty cool. So, yes, I apologize. Superman, this day, 1938. Very happy birthday goes to the aforementioned Miggy Cabrera. Former Brown safety Ronnie Harrison, Kourtney Kardashian, Conan O'Brien, Jeff Dunham, Melissa Joan Hart, and James Woods all celebrating birthdays today. All right, 2 movies for you today. We start this day, 2008, a film. I would say that this is a pretty ensemble cast, if I do say so myself. Paul Rudd, Mila Kunis, Kristen Bell, Jason Segel, Russell Brand, and Jonah Hill all star in this film. Following Jason Segel...
Forgetting
Sarah Marshall is correct. Following his plan of getting over some heartbreak, until he arrives at the resort and finds out that she's staring right there in front of him. Sarah Marshall. That is it. I've seen moments of it.
I've seen it.
Russell Brand is kind of exhausting.
Yeah, he's a lot.
It's a lot. A little exhausting. Bill Hader was in that. I forgot about that. Jason Bateman. Kristen Wiig appears as an extended version there. Yeah, just forgetting Sarah Marshall. All right, final one this day, 2003. A movie from a book that we all had to read in school.
What year?
2003. Better stay away from the yellow-spotted lizards, Ryan.
Yellow-spotted lizards. Is that like Lord of the Flies?
No. It had to be the height and width of the shovel that you were digging with.
What?
A big part of this was you had to have it be the height and the width of your shovel.
What had to be the height and width of your shovel? Holes?
Yes,
holes. That's a book you had to read as a kid?
You didn't have to read Holes. Everybody had to read Holes. Louis Satchar, everybody had to read Holes.
Like the movie with Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
No.
Please do not tell me you didn't know that was a book before.
No. I didn't know there was a book before.
What do you mean?
We didn't have to read that.
Everybody. I guess we are of a different generation.
No, you're tripping on
that. That was one of the books like up there with the hatchet and with all that. We all had to read Holes.
You're tripping on that.
Here's the funny thing. I had 4 brothers. We all went through school at about the same time. My parents had to buy. At one point, my parents were like, why do we have to keep buying Holes? What happened to your version, man? I'm like, I don't know. I lost it. I gave it to a friend. Or I like marked it all up, right, with highlighter and stuff. I think there was a giant like box, like a Rubbermaid box in my parents' house. And it was all my books, all my brothers, my books from school. Bro, there were 4 copies of Holes in there. And my parents were like, why do we have to keep buying this over and over again? I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, Holes, you didn't have to wear it or didn't have to?
No, not at all. I didn't even know it was a book.
It's crazy. I think that is crazy, but we'll see. All right, great stuff there on Time Out. Let's jump back into, before we'll get to our boost for the Guardians, wrap up a little bit of them as we get ready for the game today. Talking about recapping Andrew Berry. So I'm trying to just, go through everything that he said. We know Watson throwing up to 40 yards, which is great. God, there was one other update that I wanted to see here, too. Barry saying the depth at the wide receiver in the draft and the trend having more passing in the game moving forward. He's talking about having so many good wide receivers there, which was good. He also had a comment about the offensive tackles. He said having 3 starting caliber offensive tackles is important because it's hard to add offensive linemen at any position during the season, okay? And the Greg Newsome trade, we have 3 corners who could play press man. It's not a skill set I'm trying to give away. Then Andrew Spadel, who works at OBR, I wonder who the 3rd corner is and what that has to do with Greg Newsome. I think he's kind of reading the tea leaves that we all are, that Greg Newsome might be traded away. I don't know. Again, I think you look at it, he said he's not trying to give away a corner like that, but what if a team comes calling? I just don't understand how you wouldn't want an extra draft pick if the right move was made here for Greg Newsome. I don't understand that. Am I missing this, man? Has he not been asked a single question about even Newsome's 5th-year option or the restructure?
Is it over? Can you run down to Bria real quick?
Well, the show, no, by the time I got there, he'd be out of there. I'd like to get him on the show. Put that request in, it'd be nice. Just grill him on that. 3 starting caliber tackles is valuable. I get that. I just look at it, and I guess I could be missing it. It's a lot of draft, the use of the 30 pre-draft visits, they've used it more. They often want specific questions answered about regarding or a specific player, all that kind of stuff. No questions about the restructure, man. I can't believe that. Am I making too much out of it?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Tell me if I am. You can tell me if I am. That's all I wanted to hear from him. That was it.
Can't always get what you want.
That's crazy. And again, it's not that I expect him to stand up there and open up his book and pour his heart out on his thoughts of restructuring Deshaun Watson or not. I'd like to hear. I wanted to hear what he was going to say so then I could pick it apart tomorrow. We're still going to pick it apart tomorrow.
I'll DM him.
Yeah, DM him. See, like, come on. AB, what are we doing here? I want to DM some of the media. And granted, I couldn't be there, but you think it's a throwaway question? That's why nobody asked it? Like,
No, because even if it was, they would still ask it.
There's a lot worse questions that get asked there. Trust me. Oh, man. That's going to bother me. It's going to bother me. Not brought up once. Not brought up once on the restructure. Whole bunch of nothing. He's not trying to give away Greg Newsome. He's happy he's got 3 tackles and Watson's throwing up to 40 yards. That's pretty much it.
Nick Chubb running on land.
I guess, you know what? I blame myself, Ryan. I blame myself for getting too excited for an Andrew Berry press conference. That's my fault. That's 100% my fault. How do you just not ask him about the restructure? Is it just a foregone conclusion that he's going to do it then? I'd like that information. That's pretty much it from Berry. Again, I guess no news is good news. A lot of the questions were surrounding the draft, though, and I think they're trying to pin him down on the trade stuff. Because Andrew Berry historically has been a very aggressive general manager. He makes trades, the signings, all this kind of stuff. So I wonder when he sits there at 54, because a lot of questions were, you're void of some of these picks. Does it make it harder to make trades or less likely? And kind of AB said, he's like, you got to be a little more creative. You got to just find some different ways, different avenues to do it. But I also think his comment about the receivers was one that I'm going to take that. I think they're leaning wide receiver. His comment was, with this, I'm paraphrasing here, but the fact that there's so many good receivers and the fact that the NFL is going towards a passing league, then you would be more apt to taking a receiver. And Jack tweets, more passing, love to hear it. The more motion would be a great place to start, too. Talking about that. So, are we back on receiver there at 54? Were we ever off 54 at receiver? I wasn't, but I think hearing what Barry has to say about how the league is trending that way, the fact that this draft class is going to be pretty good at receiver, I think you got to take one there. I think you do. That's pretty much it, man. And again, the not trading of the tackle, him saying, okay, we have 3 starting caliber guys too. Okay, we're not looking to trade Greg Newsome. Of course you're not saying that. Who wants to start a press conference and broadcast to the people you got to negotiate with and other teams go, we're really trying to get rid of Jack Conklin. We really want Greg Newsome out. No, they got to play the game. I don't think he said anything about Greg Newsome that makes me feel like that's still, he said, we're not looking to trade him. Yeah, that's what GMs say, but sometimes they still get traded. They're not making the phone calls. Sure. Doesn't mean other people aren't going to call. It doesn't mean that somebody's not going to show up and say we want Greg Newsome. Then I did want to ask you on this. When he said we have 3 corners that can play press man coverage and that's hard to find, do you really need 3? I mean, again, I know that everybody goes to 3 wide receivers now and you're playing more sub package and dime on defense. I get it. I'm fine with just 2. And I don't know.
Still have Cam Mitchell.
Still have Cam Mitchell to figure that out. Still maybe draft another one this year. I just, yeah. All right. I guess that's it from AB. So there it is. You know what's up next, right? Yeah, let's go guards. 1:30 today, baby. You better get that bet in. 3-leg parlay today.
I need to do it right now.
Go do it. I already did it. I'm in for $10. $10 here. Under 9.5. That's a large number there. So we're going to go under on that. Let's get a little Cookie Carrasco vibes going, and I think Andres Jimenez. Guardians have been hit. I almost went David Fry. I almost wanted to go 4-leg and add David Fry. I feel like he's good for a hit today, too. But we'll see how it goes. Guardians lineup is out for today on the 1 o'clock game there, so I'm excited to see how it goes there.
Is there no Quan?
He has the day off today. Jimenez leading off, then Fry in left field. Ugh. Jose DHing, Naylor at first, Freeman in center, Bo Naylor's catching, Ramon Laureano in right, Gabriel Arias at third, Brian Rocchio at shortstop. So Freeman in center, Fry in left, Ramon Laureano in right is your outfield for today. Gabriel Arias at third. He's been hitting. He deserves it. And Rocchio there at short. God, David Fry in left. I don't know if I like that.
It's fine.
It's fine. All right. I like, you know what? You want to add a little sprinkle? Take our boost, which I think is good, but add me for a David Fry hit today.
Okay.
I think he's good for that. We'll see how it goes. Speaking of good, let's get to it. Our bracket of the week. Finals are set. Somebody asked me why Big Mac wasn't in this morning. I said, oh, don't you worry. They advanced.
Quarter pounder with an upset.
Upset there. A little bit of an upset. Who did they take down in that? Scrolling down for me on that.
They took on Fountain Pop.
Yes!
Egg McMuffin.
Wow.
And McRib.
I don't think Quarter Pounder is the best burger there. I think the Big Mac. I think the Big Mac is.
So what's your vote?
Probably the.
Mine's Big
I'm
Mac.
between Big Mac and French fries. I'll probably go French fries just because I don't think you can get fries anywhere. Now again, Big Macs are their own thing.
Big Mac sounds so
But the
good.
fries, man, especially when they're nice and right out of the fryer and fresh and crispy. There's something about those fries. I could just eat a large fry on my own.
Yeah. Oh, easy.
But a Big Mac sounds very good, too. That sounds all right. I'm in for that. So vote on that. We'll get that up at Matt Fontana Show. Follow us if you can there on Twitter. We're up on YouTube, also on Twitch at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. So AB's done. We'll listen back to him tomorrow, but we're going to have a lot of Cavs to get ready to go for tomorrow. It will be coming up on 24 hours tomorrow. Ready to go for the game on Saturday. Starting to feel a little groundswell, man. Starting to feel it going a little bit for the guards, or for the Cavs, and the guards, but certainly for the Cavs to get ready to go for this weekend. And I think this week off has been great. I think this has been good time off for the Cavs as they get ready to go. And I just want to ask this question. Tomorrow our question is going to be call your shot. Cavs in 6, Cavs in 4, Magic in 4, whatever you're going to do. But I feel more confident, and my confidence is growing on the Cavs. And sometimes that's bad. I think people get a little worried about how confident we were last year and see how it went. But I'm feeling that confidence is growing a little bit more, getting ready to go for this game. It's a quiet confidence. You got to respect the Magic. I do. But, Ryan, I feel really good about this series. I feel really good about the Cavs getting a win. Starts with the health of Donovan Mitchell. We got good news on that. Time off has been good. Can't wait for Saturday, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm very confident, too. I think the only way that they drop it, God forbid, is kind of if they just shoot themselves in the foot with turnovers and whatnot. And you need Darius Garland to step up. Donovan Mitchell, as good as he is.
Orlando's a good turnover-forcing team.
And then you just got to get rebounds from Evan Mobley and Jared Allen.
Yeah, and
the formula's there for them. They just got to play the ball that they know they can play. And I think it'll be smooth sailing.
I think it's to this point, too, that you're right. It's more about the Cavs. If the Cavs execute, I don't know if I see a way the Magic beat us. Seriously. And that's a lot on the Cavs because there's a lot of time that they're not executing or they have their own, issues and all that kind of stuff. But I still look at it. As long as the Cavs take care of their business, they'll be doing just fine. And ready to go. You want to get some MLB power rankings to wrap it up today? Where do you think the Guardians sit?
So I haven't seen this one.
Okay,
so
this is ESPN.
I'm gonna say, they were 10 last week.
They were 10 last week. Good memory, they were.
And okay, so since then, was that before the Yankee series?
Yes.
I'm gonna say 9.
8.
Oh, I was gonna say
Good.
8.
That's all right.
I was gonna say 8.
All right, right up here from David Schoenfield. A key to this team's hot start has been the bullpen, which is one of the lowest ERAs in the major. Leading the way is Hunter Gaddis. I love Hunter Gaddis, man. 8 2/3 of scoreless innings. Former starter who has bounced between the majors and AAA, but now has found his place. Average velocity in relief has jumped 3 miles an hour to 96.5.
He's got the gap.
Don't need you 4 innings, man. Go out there and throw it hard for an inning. Let's go. Rookie Cade Smith, who's been great.
Yeah,
Tim
outside
Herron.
of that Boston inning, he's been amazing.
Yeah. Number 1, again, these are ESPN, so we are 8. Number 1, Atlanta Braves, who we will see next week.
Can I
or
guess
2
these?
weeks.
Can I guess
yeah,
these?
sure. Number 1, Atlanta. Okay.
Number 2, is it still the Dodgers?
Correct.
Number 3, so the Yankees slipped a little bit, but is it going to be still the Yankees?
It's the Yankees.
4, is it Baltimore?
Correct. I'll tell you this, 1, 2, and okay, so here's the only thing that changed from last week. The Dodgers and the Braves flipped between 1 and 2. Yankees were 3 last week. They're 3 this week. Baltimore is 4 as they were last week. The number 5 team was also the same number 5 team last week.
Okay. Is it the AL or NL?
AL.
AL, okay. Let me run through my head. Down. What?
South. Think South.
American League South? You're saying? That's not a thing.
Yeah. No,
like-
they play in the AL
Okay.
West, but that's okay. But they're a Southern type of team.
Was it the Rangers?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
6, also staying at 6.
Was it NO?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know this as much as I thought.
Phillies.
Okay, that's fair.
7 is the Cubs, up from 8. Guardians up from 10 to 8. The team that has fallen back the most of their previous ranking. Wait a minute. There has to be a team, because who would have been like 8?
The Sox? Red Sox?
Maybe it is the Red Sox. 6, 7, 8. So I'm missing, like, who was 9 last week?
I think it was the Red Sox.
Astros.
Oh, yeah.
They
get
dropped
them
from
out of there.
7 to 17. The Red Sox, Ryan, the memory on you dropped from 9 to 18. Whew. Good.
Man, Chuck Harner on Twitter. The only thing good that McDonald's has other than the fries is the breakfast sandwiches. You should have included one. We did.
We did.
Chuck.
Don't come to us later and tell us what didn't advance or not. Sorry. It's up to the people on the votes, okay? Great job. Sorry, it's up to the people. That'll do it for us today. We'll recap Barry, even though tomorrow he really didn't say much, but we're getting ready to go. Yes, let's go, baby. We'll get ready for that tomorrow. Be excited for that. Vote on our bracket. People are upset that something didn't advance. What else is new? And then tonight, we got the Big Play Cincinnati show. They're doing some mock draft stuff there with the Bengals, so you can catch that a little bit later today on Big Play. Get voting with Tipico, or betting with Tipico. I guess it's like a vote in a way, a vote of confidence there on Tipico with code Fontana100. Get to the Guardians boost. Enjoy the hell out of some day baseball. We'll talk to you on a Friday edition. For Ryan Tyler, I'm Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.